So Alex, I'll just give a little intro on you, if that's cool.
Yeah.
So Alex and I worked at Equinox years ago. I guess you could still consider yourself a personal trainer, yes?
Yeah. Yeah.
Trainer, but she has moved well into kind of the holistic wellness realm, and more specifically in gut and hormone health. So it's always fun to bring her in and get her take on a little more than just the macros, beyond the macros. And you guys are going to get a little taste of all things Alex. So I'm going to let her take it away. And then at the end of this at 7 Central, we'll do a little check-in for anyone else who wants to stick around with me.
Cool. Gunther, will you allow me to share my screen when you get a chance?
Oh, absolutely. Yes. I made you the host. Did that not do anything?
No, no.
Okay. One sec.
Yeah, so why? Oh, perfect. Oh, now I'm the host.
Yeah.
Cool. All right. Awesome. Cool. Well, everybody, thank you so much for joining today. And those of you watching the recording, always feel free. Here's my email and Instagram. Feel free to follow me, message me, email me, whatever questions you have. Like Gunther said, my background started out in personal training because I was in the advertising world and I wasn't helping people. And I had this very strong drive to help people when I think I was really trying to help myself as well. So I quit my job, started working at Equinox, and then I went back to school for holistic nutrition because that is where my true passion lies. I absolutely love teaching people how they can support their body and maximize their health through nutrition, through gut health, through hormones. And so today we will touch on the gut-brain connection, which is super important. But with all the questions that were asked, and I do want to hear more questions from anybody else as well, it always comes back to the foundations. So I did go back to school for holistic nutrition at Bowman College. And then after I finished that, I wanted more. And so I went back to school for functional medicine. So that's where I really dove into hormones and gut health. And I work with people all over the board, all ages, all genders, it doesn't matter. Because at the end of the day, wellness is it's a platform, right? And so when we're talking about different things, this is one of the slides I usually first show my clients is when we start to look at the pillars of wellness, these are them, right? Are we hydrating? Are we sleeping well? Are we breathing? And Gunther has talked about breathing so many times because it is so important. Nutrients, right? We talk about the macros, the micros, making sure we're digesting properly. How are we eating the food? So it's not only about what we're eating, but how are we eating it? And as you may have seen, the 21-day challenge is awesome because it's starting to challenge you into taking a deeper look at what you're actually consuming. And maybe you've noticed that you didn't get enough protein or that you need more fats, and you start to notice how different macros affect your body. And that is so fantastic because we are never taught this I was never taught it. I haven't met anyone that's been taught it so far when you're just growing up. So I think it's so awesome that you guys have taken the opportunity to learn more about your wellness to just feel better. So if there are any questions at any time, feel free to unmute yourself, send in the chat thread and I'll go ahead and get to it. And I'll also be getting to the questions that were asked in the group thread. So kind of getting that chat thread warmed up, looking at all of these pillars, which one do you think you are the best in? Which one do you just really crush? Are you really great with your hydration? Are you getting in, half your body weight in ounces of water? Are you adding some sea salt to your life? Adding some electrolytes? Or are you breathing really well? Do you take the time to breathe? Do you yoga? Do you do meditation? What pillar would you say? And as you can see, movement is in here. I put in the breathing section. So movement might be what you're crushing. So go ahead and share it in the chat thread. Which one are you doing really well? Don't be shy. Sleep. Oh, Aaron, you're ahead of the games. That's great. Mediocre in all of them. And that's okay too. So this is how we kind of start to discover where we're at because awareness really is the first step. So knowing what your strengths are. My strength personally, I do sleep really well and I eat really well, right? And I then when it comes to All right. Well, Manjami, yeah. All right. So we'll kind of work on that, right? So sleep is pretty good. So maybe continuing to work on sleep until we perfect it. Or yeah, drinking a lot of caffeine and booze. Yeah. I'm sure you've had to take a nice look at that over this 21-day challenge. So then now I want you to pick one that you want to work on, that may be beneficial for your health, that you believe will give you more energy, will help you reach your goals. For me, what I'm working on right now is the breathing. As you can probably see, I talk really fast. I move really fast. I think really fast. And so that puts me in an intense fight or flight nervous system mode a lot of the time. And what we need to be in is that relaxed nervous system mode to help our body recover, digest our food, immune system work properly. So in the chat thread, go ahead and share, what would you like to work on? And you might be working on your nutrients right now, right? We are all of us here are probably working on our nutrients, right? The macros, making sure we're maximizing our food. Breathing, yeah, I know, right? We forget to do it. So right now, while we're on the line, go ahead and take a nice big deep breath into the belly and exhale. I mean, just doesn't that feel good? Just like one deep breath, right? And that's going to bring us back to present. My dog might bark any second because my partner's walking in the door, but we should be good. Okay, cool. So keeping in mind what works, what doesn't work for you right now. And the reason I bring this to the front and center is because Gunther, I think it was yesterday, left a video in our chat thread telling, this is kind of the point where a lot of us kind of give up, or we just say, screw it, right? And the reason it's so hard to change so many things about our day-to-day life at once is because our brain is like an iPhone battery. And if we make too many new decisions in one day, it's going to die super quickly. So we only have so much energy to make those new choices. So with this 21-day program, I invite you to kind of, as you're listening to me talk, think about what has worked really well for you. What have you really enjoyed? What are some things that you want to carry with you into the next 21 days, the next 6 months, the next year? Tempo, time. David, it's so funny because the first time I did this program, I was like, I've been a trainer for 8-9 years and I am guilty. I never use tempo. This is also why I'm now in this world of nutrition, because I told Gunther, I was like, you continued your movement and macros and all that. And I went into like gut health and hormones. Right. And so time under tension is crazy. Like my legs were burning and I was like, I'm strong, but like doing time under tension with 20 pounds in a squat, I'm like dying. Not 20 pounds, like 40, but still. So remembering and being really kind to yourself, that if you feel like you haven't been perfect in this challenge, that doesn't mean to give up. That doesn't mean to say, screw it. Instead, I invite you to figure out what you were doing really well and keep doing that really well. Were you hydrating? Were you actually consistent with movement for the first time in 3 years? That is so fantastic. So keep doing that. And then when you're ready in the next 21-day program or in the next cycle, perhaps you start to work more on the macros. Perhaps you start to add more water to your life. So really taking, again, what you're doing well and making it better. Starting really simple, aiming for better, not perfect, because we kind of get down on ourselves. We're like, oh, I didn't do all the things. Well, it's okay, right? We tried a ton of new things. We found what's starting to work for us. Let's get really good at that and then move on to the next thing. I think it was Cheryl who mentioned how simplicity is just what's really key, right? I think she spoke about like vegan proteins or whey proteins. And one of the key things is just starting with the macros, starting with the basics, starting with the foundations before getting into the nitty gritty, because a lot of the time we don't even have that down. And those foundations will totally change our lives. That's what's crazy. We underestimate how important water is, or how important sleep or just breathing is. And these small things will make a huge difference in your life if you've not already seen it. So that is that. Now, again, if there's any questions, feel free to let me know. So Cheryl asked a question about hormones, and this is one of my favorite slides because it talks about the interconnectedness of our brain and our hormones, and also our gut and our hormones are interrelated and intertwined as well. So why I'm bringing this up is because she asked about menopause. And this not only is going to support hormones, it's not only going to support menopause, it's going to support your energy. Our hormones, it's going to support your blood sugar. So it's going to help you reduce cravings once you start to understand these concepts. So what I want us to think about is, this is very sciencey. So slow me down if you guys have any questions. We have the HPA-TG axis. So a lot of time people will, when men get older, they need Viagra because their testosterone might be low, or women start to take hormone pills or shots or whatever it is because during menopause, your ovaries aren't producing as many hormones. Or you may have heard of thyroid issues. So you start to take a thyroid medication. What's really important here is that is not far enough upstream into wellness. So as you can see in this HPA-TG axis, yes, the reproductive organs are important. Yes, the thyroid is important. The adrenals, which are two little glands that sit on top of each kidney, are important. But what's even more important is our thoughts and our environment. So with menopause, some of the things that I would recommend, and even just like, this is what's so cool about the body, or what I think is cool, is I'm not just talking about supporting menopause. Like, these things will also support overall wellness. But some of the specific things is making sure we're eating enough food. Through this 21-day challenge, you may have noticed you're eating more than you need to be eating, or maybe not eating enough. A lot of the times I'll have clients maybe not eating enough protein or not eating enough calories because we're taught eat less and move more, which is true, yes. And you can be eating too little, which puts your body in a stressful state. So your body's never, ever going to burn fat because it doesn't know when you're going to feed it again. So it's really important to focus on eating enough food, eating the macronutrients that we need, making sure we're getting enough protein, fats, and carbs, because as we've learned, they all play a special important role in our diet. Carbs for energy. We have our fat to reduce inflammation and to support hormones. And we have, it's many other reasons, obviously. And then protein supports our muscle repair, right? It actually also supports hunger cues. So you may have noticed through this 21-day challenge, you actually have less cravings because you've been eating more protein. And that is also fantastic. Or maybe you noticed you weren't drinking enough water, and now you are, and you've also lowered your cravings. So to come back to the hormones, we need to support our environment and thoughts more importantly than we need to support our thyroid or our reproductive system, because our thoughts are sending signals to our gut and vice versa. So our gut and our brain are connected through the vagus nerve, VAGUS. And this nerve is like a shoestring, and it connects, again, the gut to the brain, and it sends signals to the rest of the body on how to respond to its environment. And the reason I bring this up is because what are the thoughts you think every day? This is science. I'm not even kidding. This is the biology of belief. There's tons of work on this. So what are those thoughts that are influencing the rest of your body? Are your thoughts more positive, or are they more negative? And your tissues and your organs are listening to these thoughts and these feelings, and they are responding to that. So if you feel like your thyroid is sluggish, if you feel like your menopause, your hormones are going crazy, if you feel like your blood sugar is out of whack, go far enough upstream, start to notice the way you speak to yourself, start to notice the environment you're in, right? Are you eating good foods? Are you in a high stressful state at work? Do you have good relationships with your partner at home? Are you arguing with your kids a lot? Are you not moving your body? These are all things that are going to slow down our whole body and cause low libido, right? Digestive issues, hormone dysfunction. And instead, what we could be doing is drinking our water, sleeping 7 to 9 hours, reducing inflammation by eating antioxidants, so eating lots of berries and dark leafy greens and those healthy, nourishing fats like almonds and flax seeds. Speaking of, that is a huge tip for menopause. If you have hot flashes, adding 1 to 2 tablespoons of freshly ground flax seeds to your food, whether it's like, your oatmeal or your smoothie, or salads. Those can help reduce hot flashes because they're phytoestrogens and they block estrogen receptors. So they'll help escort bad estrogens out of your body and keep good ones in. Cool. So sleep. I know some of us talked about that we want to get better sleep. So right now, share in the chat thread about how many hours of sleep are you guys getting? 5-ish. Okay, what else? What about Matt and Jimmy and Aaron? How many hours of sleep do you guys get? 8, great. 6, I have a puppy. Oh gosh. I went through that in December. I was exhausted. He'll be 1 on Saturday. Thank God. And so now there's the controllables and the non-controllables we have in our life, right? We got to let go of the things we can't control. However, there are things we can control. So one of the best things you can do for your body is sleep, because we must sleep to heal. So when you're crushing it in the gym and you're taking in a little bit lower calories, probably, if you're doing the 21-day challenge, your body needs rest. It needs rest to regenerate so you can crush it again the next day. So you can, burn the body fat, so you can have a high sex drive, so you can have more confidence, better conversations, more motivation. And so with sleep, 3 top tips I would give for sleep is 1, creating a really great bedtime ritual. We need enough time to support the melatonin in our body to rise and make our body feel safe and calm down our mind. So that might be an hour for some people. That might be 2 hours for some people. Turning off our screens at least an hour before bed, or I say at least stimulating activities. So if you are going to, be watching TV, watch something you've already seen before, watch something funny. Don't watch the news before bed. Don't watch a scary detective show or whatever it could be. Do things that are really boring and happy before, like an hour or 2 before bed. That is probably the best thing you can do as an evening ritual. Or not the best thing you can do for the evening ritual, but that is one of the best things you can do for sleep, is to do calming activities before bed. Stretching, foam rolling, and then also making sure your room is pitch black or you wear an eye mask, making sure the room is the right temperature. And last but not least, making sure that there's the right amount of noise. For me, I need a little sound machine. You may need complete silence, whatever works for you. And if you sleep with pets, notice, for example, a puppy, might get in the way too. So kind of keeping an eye on all those things. Does anybody have any specific questions about sleep? A little fun thing too, David, this is a side note because I'm drinking my little mocktail. Going back to habits, one of the biggest challenges with habits and creating the new habits is sometimes we're taking away too many things, and it's really important to substitute. So for example, instead of having, maybe 2 or 3 drinks a night, having maybe 1 cocktail and then having the rest be little mocktails. Like right now, I make soda water and then I'll freeze ice cubes of fresh juice, like watermelon or lemon ginger. And I'll just put those ice cubes in my soda water and it turns into a nice, yummy drink, or add some mint leaves. And so there's still flavor and some lime. So you're having a good time, but you're also not crushing your calories. So now, sleep interruptions. I know some of us have babies or interrupted nights of sleep. Oh yes. This can be a real thing. It is a real thing. So when you have, how can we make up for it? Oh, great question. I like that question. I haven't heard that one before, Gunther. Thank you. So having a baby and interrupted nights of sleep, how can we make up for it? One of the best things you can do, I would say, is to walk outside, go on walks, emphasize walks a lot more. I have a client right now. I have a few clients actually that have newborns. I don't know why. It's just a theme right now that I have. And they're not sleeping and they want to crush it for an hour or 2 at the gym. And I'm like, but they don't have time and they're freaking out about it. And I'm inviting you to remember this is only for a certain time. And sleep training is really, really important when you are able to do that. One, and then two, getting outside and just going on walks with your baby. So that's going to help set your circadian rhythm. That's going to allow some vitamin D to get into your skin. That's going to help the melatonin to help you sleep at night when you can sleep. It's going to give you some nice fresh air. It's going to release endorphins. It's also going to help you continue to move your body. So if you don't have time and or energy to like really work out hard, you're moving your body still. And I told my client yesterday specifically, I was like, you're doing a 10-pound bicep curl, every time you pick up your baby. Do some squats with them if you're feeling really, like you really need to move your body, right? You're walking around with them, you're holding them. You are now moving just in a different way. Gunther talks about, or he's talked to me about it a lot, is it's not like, yes, the calories you burn at the gym are important, but it's also really important, and it's really important how often you're moving throughout the entire day. Like, and now I'm forgetting what the technical term is, Gunther, I apologize, how embarrassing. But it's like those calories that you're burning throughout the day, not your basal metabolic rate, but the other one. And it's not just meat. Thank you. Those are going to maximize your calorie burn throughout the day. So when we're talking about making up for sleep, remember it's short-term, ideally. To continue to hydrate and focus on what you can control. So get in those nutrients, making sure you're eating enough. Eating sugar and processed foods is going to make you feel worse. So making sure that instead you're eating complex carbs like sweet potatoes and some rice. Thank you, Gunther, that is the technical term, non-exercise activity thermogenesis. And making sure you're getting in berries and fruit and healthy fats and protein. So just again, supporting yourself through all the other pillars that we spoke about before. And this is going to also support you through menopause. These things are so underrated that when you start doing all of them, and you don't have to start all at once, but start to just like chip away maybe a little bit at all of them, you're going to start to see that you don't need to be perfect in order to feel fantastic. Like you can be pretty good at all of these and feel awesome. So that is what I want us to remember. We can get into the nitty-gritty things like the supplements and, the way our hormones function. But at the end of the day, if we're not eating well, if we're not sleeping, not hydrating, and not moving our body, we're not going to feel good. So just keep that in mind as we move forward. Are there any questions about sleep so far? Any other questions? Mm-hmm. Cool. And as for hormones too, sure, I'm always happy to talk more about them offline. I do give complimentary intro calls too for anybody who wants to just see if we'd be a good fit to work together more. And yeah, so just let me know. If there's any specific questions you want about menopause too, you could just DM me and I can do a post about it, which I love because I like to know what the audience wants to learn. Like I feel like my brain knows so much information and I don't know what exactly people want to learn. So I loved this question about detox because I get it actually quite a lot. And it is a fantastic question. A lot of us are doing it, right? A lot of us will juice cleanse. We won't eat. No, I don't take insurance, unfortunately. But with detoxes, this is what's really fascinating is as with everything, intention is so key. For example, are you eating a carrot because you're afraid of being fat? Or are you eating a carrot to support the vitamin A, which supports your thyroid? Are you eating a piece of cake because you feel guilty and you're starving? Or are you eating the piece of cake because you're celebrating someone's birthday? Intention of like what you're doing and why you're doing it can help us excel in the world. And that's the same thing with these detoxes or juice cleanses is, are we doing it to give our digestive system a break? Are we doing it to add some more nutrients? Or are we doing it because we're trying to lose weight? If you're trying to lose weight, I really recommend against a juice cleanse in particular, because you're just going to gain it all back. You lose like some water weight and then you're starving and you go back to eating the way you were and you just gain the weight back. So instead, that's why I think like something like the 21-day program or challenge that Gunther does, building the foundations and understanding again what your body kind of needs is really important. And the body already has a detox system put into place. It's called the liver. And the liver is gold. And liver health is, again, very underrated. And how we can support the liver is eating nice, dark, leafy greens, kale, spinach, collard greens, arugula, little gems. Those aren't dark, but they're delicious. And beets. Beets are so fantastic for your liver. Eating foods high in B vitamins. So protein, especially B6, B9, and B12 are really important to help detox the liver. And protein, all sources. Try to find high quality, of course. And ensuring plenty of good, clean drinking water. These are going to help you just naturally detox. So instead of going on a big juice cleanse, I recommend just eating really simple foods, eating foods of really high quality. If you are, some pros to juice cleanses, if they do, like I said, give your digestive system a break. They can add some more nutrients into your day. And they do, I enjoy juices. That's why I freeze some of the juices and then I put some soda water, them as ice cubes in my soda water. So, but some of the negatives is it takes away the fiber. It can also cause cravings because if you're not eating enough, your body's going to be like, I need to eat real food. And then it goes crazy. And that's a hormone thing. And I feel like I've already been very sciencey with everybody today. So I won't bore you with the hunger hormones, unless you want me to. And so knowing that when you have cravings, it's your body's natural hormonal response to things, and it's not your fault. There might be some kind of thing at play, whether we have to work on your hormones, whether we have to work on what you're eating, the right macronutrient ratios, eating enough food or eating too much food, or stress can all come into play with that. So overall, I would recommend supporting the liver in order to detox, because your liver is doing all the detoxing for you. And making sure you're pooping every day. If you're not pooping every day, that's also something you want to figure out, because that's how all of our toxins get released throughout our body, is mostly through our poop. So I talk about poop all the time and it doesn't bother. I love it. So, well, I talk about all the time. It's not weird to me. So I have clients who are like, I can't, this is TMI. I'm like, it's not for me. You don't understand. I talk about it all day with my clients. So speaking of cravings, this is the one last thing I really did want to touch on, because I feel like I'm talking at you guys a lot. So if you have any questions, let me know. Yeah, exactly. It's poop, and we all do it. So it's important to talk about it. It's another thing that no one talks about that we should be talking about. So here I am for you. Cravings. Cravings are a question I get asked about a lot. How do I reduce my sugar cravings? How do I reduce my salt cravings? I always want chips at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. What can I do? So one day I did like a 30-day, like reduced craving tips on my TikTok or something like that. And so I picked the 9 ones that I think are best and most helpful for everybody. And the first one is macronutrients and calorie intake. So with cravings, I want, or I invite you guys to think about how your cravings have changed from the day before you started the program to today. See if they've, maybe you have cravings, maybe you don't have them anymore. And notice it could be because of the change of the macronutrient ratios. If we don't have a certain nutrient, our body's going to crave a certain kind of food. It's natural. It's what the body is supposed to be doing. This is not the body's fault. The body is very, very intelligent. And when it craves something, it means that it needs something, whether it's actually the food or it's an emotional tie, right? So I work a lot with emotional eating, because yes, macronutrients are important, and food isn't just about food. Sometimes there are lots of emotional ties with food, or drinking, right? Like you come home, you want to relax, you pour yourself a glass of wine. So how can we move away from that emotional attachment, or what can we do to fill that void, or to support that emotion that doesn't involve food or drinking? So I'll work a lot with people with that, because I've experienced that myself, and I still do sometimes, right? And sometimes I'm like, you know what, I'm just going to have the glass of wine because I need to do this so I don't go crazy. And then there's other times where I'm like, I'm going to make a mocktail, I'm going to have water. And it's just about knowing your body, again, the intention, and what are your goals, and always coming back to your goals. So calorie intake, sometimes we might not be eating enough in the beginning of the day or in the middle of the day. And so then at night, when we're nice and relaxed and the kids are in bed, we eat the whole house. That is something I hear from my mom clients a lot. And so ensuring we're having, a breakfast, lunch, and dinner, ensuring we're having the right amount of calories for what we want. Or if you are cutting calories because you're trying to lose a little bit of weight, noticing the cravings, drinking some water, adding some sea salt to your water or electrolytes to support the balance of your body, and see if you still have the cravings, see if you're still hungry, or noticing maybe you are hungry because you're not eating enough calories because you're trying to lose weight, which is fine too. We need to know. The awareness is really key. So making sure you're having the right amount of macronutrients, calorie intake, hydration is really important. And then sleep. If we don't sleep enough, that's going to spike our blood sugar, and then we're going to have sugar cravings because our body wants that energy and we get quick energy from sugar. So ensuring your sleep. But again, if you have a puppy or if you have, a newborn, that's maybe not in your control right now. So focusing on when you can just relax. That's another thing I tell my clients who don't sleep well, because a lot of time we'll get in our head. So you take out the puppy or you have, wake up with the baby and then you go to lay down and you're like, I still can't, now I can't even fall asleep. Like, how do I do this? Like I can sleep and now I can't sleep because my adrenaline's going. So just remind yourself that you laying in your bed and you relaxing in a happy state you're going to get benefits from sleep. It's not going to be 100% of the benefits, but it will be 60, 70% of rest. Even when we're sick, we may not be sleeping the whole time when we're sick, but we are resting, and that's supporting the healing of our body. So if you're just laying in bed and you're mad that you can't fall asleep, that's not so great. But if you're laying in bed and you're like, I'm melting in bed, or take yourself to a vacation, or maybe you put on a nice insight timer sleep meditation, those things can still help you recover and regenerate and heal and rest. And so that's what I would recommend if you're not getting the sleep. And then eating around your workouts. So if you're crushing it in the gym and then you go to work and then you're in meetings and then all of a sudden you're like, oh shoot, I worked out at 7 a.m. and now it's 12 o'clock and I'm starving. So making sure you are eating enough after your workout, I found is really helpful to reduce cravings. Maybe you do need breakfast, maybe you don't, depends on your intermittent fasting, depends on your energy levels and what you're doing throughout the day. And then eating foods that satisfy your cravings. If you're ignoring your cravings, your body will find a way biochemically to get you the food, and it's very strong. So that's why, again, Gunther's 21-day program or challenge is so great, because you're starting to learn okay, these are what carbs are, these are what fats, protein, and I can still eat a cupcake, right? But you might notice that it's a lot of fat and a lot of carbs. So now how do I also have protein throughout the day, or have some vegetables, have some fiber? Because again, fiber will also help reduce cravings. And so making sure you're eating foods that are satisfying your cravings and not saying no to things unless it causes actual health issues. Because again, intention, right? Planning ahead. This is hopefully something you've learned in the last 2.5 weeks, is that planning ahead is going to lead to success. So if you do know you're going to have a busy week, you meal prep on Sundays, you figure out how you're going to get lunch in so you're not ravenous at night. Obviously I could go into all of these for 20 minutes, but I won't. I'm trying to, keep you guys alive. And eating lots of color. Lots of color is going to give you a ton of micronutrients, because macronutrients are important, but we also need, especially when we are going through something like menopause or we're not sleeping, we need extra nutrients. Nutrients equal health. If we do not have nutrients, the body will not thrive. So we need to get those nutrients in through color. So, think butternut squash, beets, radishes. Oh, let's play a fun game. I love this game. All right. In the chat thread, share a red fruit or vegetable. It could be your favorite or just one you think of in your head. This is the best game. I play this with everyone. It's so engaging. Strawberry, perfect. What else? What are some tomatoes? Perfect. Give me another one. One more. What's red? Bell pepper. Perfect. All right. Now what's orange? And every color, fruit and vegetable has have different nutrient profiles. So eating lots of color ensures you're going to get them all in. Oranges. Yeah, exactly. Bell peppers. Perfect. Carrots. Great. Tomatoes. Sometimes. Yeah. Right. Sweet potatoes. Like we said, bell peppers, carrots. I feel like I'm missing something really that I eat all the time, but I forget. Okay. Tomatoes. Perfect. And then yellow. What's yellow? Yellow fruit or vegetable. Lemons. Perfect. Yep. What else? Squash. Yes. Butternut squash. That was my orange one. Banana, mangoes, perfect. And then green. This one's easy. What's green for your vegetable? One that you haven't eaten in a long time. That's harder. Broccoli, spinach, perfect. Yes, all of them, literally all of them. Kale, yeah, I was gonna say kale. All of them. Zucchinis, cucumbers, arugula, collard greens, little gems like I keep bringing up, perfect. Now blue purple vegetables or fruits. Blueberries, perfect. Blackberries, grapes, yes. Eggplant, good one. Purple potatoes, if you haven't had purple potatoes, I highly recommend them. They're delicious. Purple cauliflower, purple carrots, those might be cheating, but they're still purple. And purple and blue fruits and vegetables have the highest amount of antioxidants out of every food. Fun fact, beets, yes. And then last but not least, like white. What are some white fruits and vegetables? Potato, yes. Onions, perfect. Yeah, I think I would count it as coconut. Oh, I haven't heard coconut. That's a good one. Mushrooms, jicama, cauliflower, perfect. So notice all of these things will help reduce cravings, not only because you're eating a wide variety of food, but you're also having a ton of different nutrients, so the body won't have as many cravings as you're giving it the nutrients. Got it? Fiber, like I mentioned. And last but not least, eat slowly and undistracted, which is tough for us, right? We're always trying to do a million things at once. We're on our computer, we're helping the kids, we're doing the laundry, we're, cooking. And we just sometimes need to slow down. This is that breathing thing again. Eating slowly, chewing your food, being with another person, not being on your phone or in front of a screen is really, really important when it comes to supporting your digestive system, your metabolism, because again, it's going to slow down that nervous system. So your body's ready to focus, it's ready to digest, it's relaxed, it feels good, and it can focus on healing versus focusing on like running away, getting that project done, tying your kid's shoes, taking out the puppy so it doesn't pee in the house, things like that. Cool. So that was a lot for today. I just shared so much information. I hope I didn't overload anybody. Does anybody have any questions? So as a recap, the gut and brain are connected. And so that is why when you support the mind, support the body through self-care, through nutrients, through hydration, through movement, it's going to support the rest of the body because it's connected through that vagus nerve, which gives signals through the rest of the body on how to respond to its environment. So just look around you. Are you filling your day with more positive or more negative things? It's really can be that simple. So what's the scoop with probiotics? Okay, so same thing with intention. If you feel like your gut health is a little out of whack, I would actually check out learning more about stomach acid. Stomach acid is really important because it's the first digestive juice in the line. And ideally your stomach acid is strong enough that it's regulating your bacteria in your gut. So it's regulating the good guys and the bad guys. And a lot of us do have lower stomach acid right now because of stress, toxins, the processed foods. With probiotics, one of my favorite ones are Inner Echo. It's a natural coconut probiotic. You can get at Whole Foods and it tastes really good, like in water or like sparkling water. It's like effervescent. It's delicious. And I like just a tablespoon if you'd like to. It will help, replenish some good bacteria. So if you do, a round of antibiotics, supporting the body with probiotics to get those good guys back is really important since antibiotics kill the good and bad. And pill or liquid, it depends on what the pill or liquid is. First of all, I would, and you can shoot it straight. I just love drinks. And capsules, just make sure the brand is really good. Usually, I always tell my clients to notice if there's third-party recommended or certified, I'm sorry. And because you want it third-party certified, so they're not, chlorophyll, exactly. You guys got this. You guys are on the health train. I love that. And so with the probiotics, definitely the brands, like I also, what brand? And Megaspore probiotic is one of the best probiotics. It's more expensive, but it's very high quality, well-rounded. If you have something like diarrhea, the strands are really important too with probiotics. There's certain strands that will I'm trying to think of the word and I blanked on the word, but will help with certain situations. So like I can never say it. It's like S. boulardii that will help like with something like diarrhea. So finding like if you have something that you need to get taken care of, I do ask, okay, why? Like, why did this happen in the first place? And if you need a probiotic to support, it's good for your immune system. It is good for the good guys of the bacteria. So always just asking why. But like something like taking chlorophyll, I feel like is more important than taking a probiotic because chlorophyll is really good for the body, and a probiotic, ideally your bacteria is being regulated by your stomach acid anyway. Does that make sense? Yeah, exactly. And or like what was I gonna say? Yeah, so I'll do like a stomach acid like experiment with my clients. And I'll have them take hydrochloric acid, like the actual, like what your stomach acid is made out of. Because your stomach acid should be so strong that it burns a hole through your hand if it was put onto your hand. That's how strong your stomach acid is. That's crazy, right? It's in your body. So, so yeah, notice apple cider vinegar is a good way to support your stomach acid. Eating, again, chewing your food, eating undistracted, eating slowly can also support your stomach acid. Eating bitter herbs is really good for stomach acid. And then eliminating like processed foods, gluten, dairy, good for stomach acid as well. But cool. I love that. Yeah, indigestion is not fun. And sometimes eating too quickly can cause it too. So keeping an eye on that. Awesome. Any other questions? This was great. So again, if you guys have any questions, like reach out to me. I love questions. Obviously, I get really excited about it. And if you need anything else moving forward, let me know. And it's so great to be a part of this group. And again, whatever you did well in this challenge, like go with that. Keep working on that after it, because that's something you're really good at. And the more like reps you have under your belt, the better you'll be. So just keep doing that. And then maybe when you're ready to add the next thing, add that, but don't stress yourself out. You guys got this. Wherever you're at, meet yourself where you're at. Thank you so much, everybody. Gunther, thank you always for having me. I appreciate it. Have a wonderful, wonderful Thursday. And I look forward to hearing from all of you. Bye, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you, Gunther.
You want to just transfer host back to me? Sweet.